Okay, so now we're gonna show this amazing wet palette that I've created. I don't typically use a wet palette. I use, and I'll show that next. But what I've done is I've created this. I've just taken one of those plastic um, palettes that you can get at your local art store, and I put one of these foam things you get when you buy Flames of War and other kinds of blisters. So you probably have tons, didn't know what to do with them. Now you know what to do with them. You just get them soaking wet. You can see this
Nice.
region is more dark than the other region. And then I just take my X-Acto blade, and you'll have to so just to show people, this is that foam piece that I've got. I've cut it to be in the painting area, and I don't have another one of these, but they're basically this size, except they're
Yes.
flat. They're not really flat, they're wavy.
Hmm.
And so then I have that, and then my X-Acto blade, I just come in here and stretch it out and then just poke it on the side like this into that gray area, the dark gray
Nice.
area. And now I have, it's very wet on my hands, which is the whole purpose of a wet palette. So I'm going to use contrast. So you're going to say, why do a wet palette with contrast? I mean, that's no pithy comments.
No, I mean, the wet palette's there to thin out your paint, right? So,
Yeah, but I mean, typically having the this color, you wouldn't need that.
right.
Uh,
So, why are
but
you doing this then?
yeah, there we go. There's the mark we know. So just to show the process, because you should still thin your contrast paints. Okay.
Yes, you don't want to cover the detail, especially of miniatures.
So you
Okay.
can see that when I've got it on my brush and then I go to the palette, you can see now it's starting to thin.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have major control here of how much thin I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the figure here. And
Go up a little bit, Paul, towards the paint.
oh yeah, there
Towards
you go.
there you go. Bam, right there.
Yeah. Okay, but let me just move the paint because you've already seen the paint. How to do
Mm-hmm.
that.
And you're using Citadels.
I am using the contrast Citadel. This is dark. This is Blood Angels red.
Okay.
So you can see now I have a lot of control here, how much paint's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how, I don't know if you can see it really well, but some areas I can make darker than others. I want to stay away from his cool, what do you call that cross thing?
Haversack?
Yeah, what did you call it?
A haversack?
Haversack. Wow, that's a really cool name. I always compare the other figure that I painted
Nice.
to the one that I am going to paint
Right.
so that I can get an idea. Oh, I've got to go like a triangle motion here. So I'm going to flip
Mm-hmm.
this guy
Mm-hmm.
around. Now, the nice thing about the wet palette is it's always going to stay this way. The paint's always going to be at
Nice.
this
And the
level.
figures are who? Who are the figures made by?
These are Perry.
Perry, very good. I like
Yeah.
Perry.
And you see I have a way more control
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm doing it this way. So I can get, and this paint's staying wet. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about what's happening. But look at how much control you can see that.
Down a little
Paint
bit.
down more.
Towards, yeah, there you go.
So you can see where I got just around his hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really easy to get right in there, right up, and not get any of the other detail. I'm gonna get under the
Right.
armpit.
And you could just leave that paint sitting out on the wet palette for a couple days or something, or how long does it usually keep?
I usually just clean it right off. Take out the sponge slash foam and squirt it out. That way, when you start again, you're just wrapping it in regular saran wrap and starting again. Um,
Okay.
If you go to
I have the
the,
one that you can buy from the store. I think I bought it from Michael's. It has a little cover on it. You can keep it for a day or so if you want.
yeah, I never trust that,
Hmm.
but you can see how much control I have here. Do you see how
Yeah.
light it is here? So I can just bring some more color over onto the palette. And I can always just come over here and grab some of this.
Really
Yeah.
thin it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and thin it out some more. Um,
So do you use the wet palette all the time when you paint now, or when do you use the wet palette? I mean,
yeah, I don't typically use the wet palette because I'm lazy.
Mm.
But you can see just in this little brief moment here, I've done him, right? And you can see his, I'm going to move this now so that we can really see. So you can see how I have
There you go.
his, right? Done his color. I'm going to move it just a little up there so you can see that better.
Yeah,
And then
nice.
this was not done with the wet palette.
Uh-huh.
So you can see how kind of that's just a single color
yeah.
Yeah.
there. And then his here has a lot more definition.
Mm-hmm.
I've kept a lot of the arm uh, intricacies of the arm. I wish I could get
Yeah.
zoom in,
Yeah.
but I can't. So maybe if I just lay
It's
him.
best right about there. Oh,
Oh,
it went somewhere.
Well, we're done with that.
We're done
all
with
right.
that. All right,
Let's
but
find
very
out.
nice. I use the wet palette a lot. It's because I'm a heavy painter, so if I put too much paint on, I overflow my miniatures. So, I like to use the wet palette, and I've you have to become patient. You have to be ready to do 2 or 3 layers sometimes or
Yeah.
coats.
So let me show you my kind of my go-to because like I said, I've been trained on the wet palette,
Sure,
but it's not my cup of tea.
sure.
So what I changed in my art teacher showed me this. This is called color float.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
It is a miracle. What it does is you can put it, you know how you get your paints, they start to get old and they start to get gooey and mushy and
Yep.
almost hard, that kind of like sludgy. You drop about 10 drops in and shake it up and it comes right back.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
And now I don't like ever have paints that dry out. I have color cups that empty completely, which is kind of crazy.
And
So
it's called again,
it is called Color Float.
and you got it where?
I got it online.
Okay.
You can go to any art supply store and they have a color float. So
Sweet.
let's see, I'm in this yellow one here. So I'm just going to put a couple drops in there. Now this is acts exactly like a wet palette. So now I have my color here and I can just dab it here and just keep mixing this until I start to have the consistency I want over here. And then I can come in and grab that. Now you'll see it's much more.
Slide it over a little bit.
Oh,
Slide
sorry.
it. Yeah, there you go.
So there's a lot more color definition now.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to be able to build that color up.
Mm-hmm.
And I can actually move the color around.
Now you're using contrast paints, or so does that mean you should just be able to do this in one shade or?
Yep. Yeah, I can just do this. The thing about color float is when I get this consistency to the way I want it,
Uh-huh.
it stays that way for forever.
Oh,
Oh,
So I
wow.
could dip my brush dip my brush in the float and add, and it stays at that consistency.
nice.
Whereas with the color, with the white palette, I mean, the wet palette, I have to kind of keep doing some mixing. But with color float, once I get it to consistency, then equal parts, and I'm back in business.
There you go. Slide it over to the left.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And so this makes it so the color runs a little better. I don't know if you can see
There,
that.
you're not gonna put a shade on this character after you're done, or are you going to?
No, this will be all done once.
Okay.
once I have this portion.
Could you move the model over a little bit?
Yeah. How's that?
That's
Perfect.
better. Yeah, I'll keep it over the paints. Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
So let me see if I can move it down a little bit. Not really, but we're gonna get a better camera for Christmas.
Yeah, we're gonna do something. I talked to somebody.
But you can see now it's almost like it's a magic marker at this point.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow.
And then I can just dip, and I'm right back at my magic marker, see?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only thing about color float is you're gonna have to wait for that to dry.
How long does that take?
It just takes a little longer. I've known people that are in a hurry, so they will go ahead and dip their brush in this. It's the opposite of retardant that you can buy as well at any store, and you just dip another brush and then just tap it and it dries it. But this stuff dries really fast, I think, in my opinion. Depends on how much you use.
Right.
But the control that you have is epic. That's the main thing. Is you just have it's when your paint is too thick, it just sits.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you have this kind of control, you can just move around the paint, and it almost is like a watercolor at that point.
Yes.
Wow.
Now the backpack I did with just regular contrast. So you can see.
And you didn't thin that down or anything, the backpack?
Nope.
Okay.
That's the beauty of contrast. But when I'm doing my major color, like the coat, then I'll go to color float, even on the contrast. It just makes it. Go ahead.
Maybe in the future you should do a painting tutorial just on contrast in general, contrast paints.
Let's do that next episode.
All right, let's do it.
What a great idea.
And we're expecting an update on this miniature next week too, or next month too.
No, yeah, we hope this miniature is done next month. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your enthusiasm and I love your encouragement. Also, I use this magnifying glass. It's like epic. I got it for Christmas. It's
awesome.
You can see it's got two adjustments, so I can adjust this anywhere I want.
Killer. And
then it has the inner magnifier as well. So if I want to get eyes, I can do those.
Very good.
And I got this for Christmas, so my wife must love me.
Very nice.
She knows you're getting old.
Oh, what? This episode has changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I turned off the bright light. Did that actually kind of help a little bit?
Can we see the back of the model? Can you lift up the model that you just did so we could see the...
Yeah, it did actually. We can see the detail a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It looks a little bit more red than it did before as well. So the lighting definitely.
Yeah, the lighting was washing it out.
So yeah, we have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Move the lighting up a little bit.
We have to get our lighting guy on that.
Yeah, it's an S23, so I don't know what to say. Also, when you do it this way, it's super easy to clean that up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You just get your thing in there and you're done.
Nice.
That's your cleanup. So
perfect.
I know, right? I just wish I would do that all the time.
Yeah, what's this cleanup that you speak of? I don't.
Yeah, we typically don't clean up, do we? We're not that
layers and layers of paint on overpaint. Yeah.
Yeah. So color float is the way to go.
All right, that's a great tip for this episode.
Yeah,
I'll have to go look for that.
Color float. And yes, I will be painting these guys. I really want to put together. I want to get muskets and tomahawks because I think it is a better rule set. The only problem is that Osprey is so huge; they're everywhere.
Yes,
and they are a great rule set. If I wanted to teach someone that didn't know anything about miniatures, I think they would
Yes.
feel way more comfortable
Yeah.
jumping into
100%. 100%.
Rebels and Patriots.
It is the
And
simpler.
once we
Yeah.
have them hooked and they have the plastic crack, then we can jump them into.
See, that's why you bring both rule sets with you, Paul. And then you just slip it in next time. Next time we're playing muskets and tomahawks.
It is kind of weird how we're kind of like pushing drugs here.
Right, right. It's good for you though.
So let's talk about the last thing, because it's the sad thing.
Oh,
Is maybe the loss of a game store.
mhm.
So to give you
Now-
some history,
I don't know much about it, so you guys would be able to speak more about it.
I have a lot of history on it. So I was teaching, and the guy that taught science, I taught computer science and he taught science, earth, physical, and life science. And I mentioned that I played, war games and miniatures, and he's like, "Really? I've always wanted to do that." And I said, "Really? I'll get you hooked." So I started playing, and he got into 40K, and he got into Magic, The Gathering, and then he quit his job and started a game store. So
Awesome.
now I'm starting to feel a little bad,
Wow.
but he called it Gameology, and he had it started in it wasn't in Upland, it was in Montclair. And I went there several times, a really great store. And it was in a little, mini mall where we all find our game stores. He did it, I think, for about 12 years, and then he sold it. And then that owner, I'm going to remove my
Yes.
chips. Then that owner took it over, and he moved it up to Upland. And then I think 5 years ago, they started the Pasadena store, Gameology Pasadena. And that was some of the old staff from Game Empire when Chuck Robbins passed away, and that store closed. And then Paul Rubin bought that store, but those gentlemen were already with Gameology. And there was a bit of a feud. I guess that's the best way to, healthy competition.
Sure.
Retail competition, if there is such a thing. And the two stores are very different. One is, the Gameology in Pasadena I felt was really organized and clean, and I really liked the way it was run. Whereas Odyssey Games is a little more eclectic and full of product here, there, and everywhere, sort of thing. Anyways, that was just my personal view. I know both of you have played at Odyssey. What is your impression of Game Odyssey?
Same as you. I eclectic. I like they had old sprues and stuff of miniatures everywhere and stuff. So that was just, took getting used to. And I think they were more of like, they seem to me like Xander's, more of a board gaming store, like focused on that, which I of course understand. So
yeah, because there's like one little box of BattleTech at Odyssey Games, and
right,
there's a little bit of Warhammer. There's no Warlord.
right,
Yeah.
Gameology had the good, a good mix of product for Warlord and Blood and Plunder, actually, and
Right.
just Army Painter and all that for sure.
Well, then he sold both locations, and so the one in Upland is still running, and then the one in Pasadena, something happened. I'm not privy to it. I don't have the correct information, so I'm not going to say what it is. It's just closed within a month of change of ownership, which is really sad. It just literally closed on Halloween.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was unexpected. There wasn't like a clearance sale or anything. It was just like the week they only announced it, and then 3 or 4 days later they were closed.
That's correct. And then I had heard that some of the product got sold off to the Gameology store in Upland. But that was a rumor. I don't know what, I haven't like rode by and looked in, just seemed a little creepy.
Right.
Into the
It seems like the space is set up for gaming, so hopefully someone will take over and make a new gaming store, or is that not an option?
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's downtown. I mean, that's like Old Town Pasadena. I mean, I think that's always been a pricey neighborhood, and
Mhm.
that's the thing. I mean, during the pandemic, it might have been easier for a game store to own there, but I got to believe rents go up there quite often.
Sure.
I don't know.
I'm hoping that the manager slash new owner that had to shut it down will relocate and find a new spot.
Sure.
It's always been his dream to have a game store, so it seems like this is just more of a speed bump.
Sure. Yeah,
That's
things happen for a reason, maybe. Never know. I like the store a lot. I like the big tables upstairs. Like I like their supply of stuff, but hopefully they can work it out.
especially their staff. Their staff is excellent.
Mhm.
I know have known them for quite a while, most of them, and they're always very courteous and supportive and funny, and they have a really good sense of running a business and making it safe and feeling safe for everyone.
Right.
And keeping people mellow.
Yeah,
I've
sure.
actually been in the store and heard some of the staff go, hey, okay, just relax. We're all good here.
That's necessary sometimes.
It's just dice,
Just the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Well,
they have always been really successful at that. Whereas other locations that not so much. So
well, you'll have to keep us updated if you get any information.
yeah, we all have our ear to the rail, as it were, and
Right.
hope something pops up.
Or that means you need to quit your job, Paul, and start a gaming store. And
I
Don't tempt him.
I did all the metrics, I did the business plan, and I am not that brave.
no, it's really hard to run a gaming store, I imagine.
Well, it's just the margins are so very like restaurants.
Mm,
They're very tight. A lot of people that you think of as being your bread and butter clientele go off to eBay and Amazon, and you're like, what are you doing?
mhm.
I think that's one of the problems in the entire hobby is people forget to go to a brick and mortar store like Next Gen Games or
sure.
Lost Planet
For sure.
and buy the game there.
Yeah, like where I live, I don't have any of options. There's no real stores that carry that stuff. So the stuff I play, actually,
So you're gonna open a store then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to for sure. I just have to hit it big on the lottery or something, or
And then it's been decade or more since Aero Hobby left your area, right, Phil?
Yeah, they've been gone for a long time. There's a board game store that opened up fairly close by, Paper Hero, and they do a lot of Magic, but they don't, and they have a little bit of 40K, but they don't have any historicals or anything like that inside of it.
I've been to the one in Sherman Oaks. It's really well maintained, really nice facilities. Is it the same as near you?
It is. I mean, I go there to buy paint when I can because I could get there super quick. It's like a 5-minute drive. So yeah, they do a very nice job. It's a very clean store. There's a lot of tables. There's plenty of tables. They do the Friday Night Magic and other board games and stuff. And the staff is nice.
Well, here's an idea. What if we all meet at Paper Heroes and do our podcast?
All right. We would have to talk to the staff, I would imagine.
I can do that.
Okay. Where is this at?
Well, we have two, so we can do a play and compare. We can do an episode in Sherman Oaks, and then we can do an episode near Phil, so he doesn't feel left out.
Okay.
I mean, we could do one at the church after a gaming day too, one day possibly too.
For sure, yes.
Well, we did do the little mini episode.
That's true.
We did.
That was pretty nice. Yeah.
We can go back and do another mini episode. And then in Christmas, I know my schedule really opens up in Christmas, and I know Mark's does
Yes,
too.
yes, a little bit, a little
I've
bit.
got 2 weeks off, so yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna do some major gaming then,
Yeah,
and
there you go.
yeah, there we go.
So
All
we
right.
could talk. We could talk about that after at next month. That next month's episode. What we're gonna do over the holidays for gaming.
That's right.
Right,
That's right. And
right,
make
and
our
then-
make our wish list, right?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yes, that's right. Get the elves some inside
my-
information about what we want.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
And we also have to show our pile of shame.
Ooh,
Do
that's
we?
yeah.
That's really, yeah, that's daring. I would love to have an episode where we just talk, just pile it all up in your room and just
That could be like a Saturday Night Live skit on hoarders or something, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it
Right.
for today's this
Perfect.
month's episode. We will all see you next month for ho ho ho.
Excellent.
Have a nice Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to
We'll
talk
see
to
you.
everyone. See you at the tables.
Bye.